Hi guys, welcome back. This is Abdurrahman Gilal. In our previous videos, we've been learning, fundamental things about the object-oriented programming, specifically using Java. So we realized that whenever we try to, develop a program, we have to write something like public static void main, and then we say that the main is a method. So in this video, I'll be explaining you that what is method and what are the different types of methods and what are the benefits of using methods. So the first of all, very important thing is to know that the methods are a block of code that perform a specific task. So it is like when we have a big program. In the program we divide the small chunks of code so that we can basically let the program do some specific task. And the methods usually take usually or may take inputs from users or from callers, and then they compute things and they return the things. So for instance, if you see this screen and then this string args, this is kind of a input that this method may receive, or basically is going to receive, in other words. So let's just start, like, what are the different types. So first of all, important is that how can one define the method. So the methods have to be in the shelter of the class. So the class has fields, and let me draw that. Class may have class may have if I say the class, sorry about my drawing. So if I say this is my class, so usually class name, for example, this is my class name and the class name is method. So this methods, and then there will be fields, for example, integer ABC or whatever. So these are the fields. And here are the place where we put the methods, which is called, we call behavior. For example, I'm making a program for calculator, so addition, subtraction, and other programs. Oh, sorry, other modularity of the code will be placed right here in whenever we design the program. So this part is called method part, and whenever we discuss the method, we always discuss method in the parentheses. That's what we say main is a method. If you see that, so now usually, like, so if I say what are the benefits of the method, so simple words, we have, one is the modularity, and then the reusability is also possible, because once we have a small chunk, for example, addition, so we don't have to repeat the code for addition. Let's say in our previous presentations, or, in our previous, let's say examples we've been learning. Let's say we have two methods, two variables such as integer x and integer y, and then in order to see the addition, we used to do like this, x plus y. So in this way, now we have to do, let's say, another addition for some other values. Then we have to repeat the development, the code or logic again. So that's one of the things that can be basically reduced if we try to implement the methods. So we will be doing it shortly. And another very important, benefits of using method is the abstraction, which means they hide the logic. So what do I mean from that? For example, you have a way to verify the username and password, or you have a way to store the password into the database. So maybe you are doing some encryption, or what is the logical, or what is the way, or what are the basically encryption methods or encryption algorithms you're using. You're trying to hide from the users. So when you're trying to hide from the users, like anywhere, in any caller, so you better give them the method definition, such as, I don't know how the main is working. So when I don't know how the main is working, which is clearly showing me that I have been given a specific unit which I can access, and the other things are abstracted for me. So that's one of the beautiful things about methods. And there are many more. For example, maintainability. If the code is in the small chunks, we can easily maintain, and it's readable. If we wanted to share with someone, we can define their names and whenever we call them. And also they are useful for us for testing purposes. For example, there's a huge program and then you cannot define everything in one go. So you define chunks of them and then you keep, testing them. So these all can be benefits of using the methods. So let's jump in and start at like how can we really implement the methods. So first of all, in order to in order to develop a method, we should know that there may be certain types. This is what I always say, that the method, let's say this is the name like ABC, or I make it better addition, let's say, like so that we all understand. So aid. So we should be having something in the front and something in the back. So when we say something in the front, which means we are trying to say that will the function, oh sorry, method return something to us. So this is the place where we basically expect some return, and this is something that we basically expect something input for the logic. For example, this is the body. So when we try to input something to the body so that the computation may happen based on this value, so we call them parameters. So we call them parameters or parameter. It's up to us. Like if we have one parameter, like this is only one parameter, so it's a parameter. And then computation may happen here. And at the end, we use a keyword called return, and then that's it. So this return will basically go back here. So here we have to define if nothing is returning, we say void where something is returning. That's so once again, I must say, so we have to have a name and then parenthesis, and if something is going inward and something going outward from the method, that's the logic. So I usually define there can be probably four possibilities if we have. So one, method will not return anything, and method will not receive anything from the caller. So I say void. So in Java, we don't write any void in here. Or method will not return us anything, but method may receive something here. For example, strings. Let's say, then we put the variable name here. So it's up to us, okay? So whenever we try, for example, user name or something, so user name will just be posted wherever we call the method. So it's just second type of method. And the third type of method is, for my understanding or my explanation, I say method return something. For example, method return us integer, or method return us float. And method, let's say, does not receive anything. And the last one, I am sure you all know now that method receives something as well as method returns something. For example, method is send x integer x, and let's say method also send integer y. So integers are two parameters that are being passed. So these are the logical, consideration. So it's up to us, like how we are going to use, which one we are going to use. So logic is ours. So let's just quickly start, like maybe one by one. So we start the first one first, and let's just quickly type the code. So the first one, I say like I am going to create a method which is just used for, you know, greetings. So let's say void greetings and nothing in here. And here we say, let's say instead of this calling this one, I am going to call here. Uh-oh. Better I should write no, welcome back from greetings. So you're gonna see here, if now that's how that method is ready for us to use anywhere. Now how to use the method, sorry about that, how to use the method, this is something different. So what we have usually like we can, directly call, but here we cannot call. So this is making a little bit how to say, not, easy for us. So time being, I'm going to explain you that what we can do is that we can put a uh, you know, keyword called static, and then you're gonna see that. Now you can see that. So what is a static? Basically, I'll be explaining in the next video that whenever we have a class, for example, we have a class. So everything in the class is basically going to be, control based on their keywords. So let's say public, static, or public. You're gonna see that public, static. So when we say static, which means we do not want to say that a class will have their instance. So let's say if a class is called animal class and the animal can be cat and the animal can be dog. So cat is an instance when we try to implement a class. So usually we have to drive an instance of the class first, or otherwise we cannot use the properties of the class. So here I'm just trying to make it a little bit specific for you. If you don't use static somewhere, it's also fine. When we learn about the classes, you learn it better. So just try to understand that this static means we can use it without any instance of the class. That's why I say. So let's say now I call the greetings and then I run the program, and then so there you go. Welcome back from greetings. And then if I do not call it here and I run the program, will I be having anything? No, because I must tell you once again, the main method is the method that actually runs all the code. So I already explained you last time, the main method is the first method that the compiler will look for and compiler will start execution. So let's say main method is started and the main method did not see anything to run. So main method will never look back for any other code that is there in the program. So this is something very, interesting that now we are understanding further. So just for the time being, I'm gonna make now another method, oh sorry, method to add two numbers as I told you, or now I'm going to create, just maybe in case that here better I see a string and I receive a string in X and I say welcome back, and then here I print X. So X is just how to say is any variable name, and this is the data type that we are trying to pass. And here in the how to say in the main method, what we do is that we basically create any variable that is a local variable here, and X is a local variable in the greeting. So both of them may carry different values, or may pass or share some values with each other, but the variable from here cannot be used in the main method, and then the variable from main method cannot be used in the in greetings method. So one thing must be understood here is that we have different scopes based on the blocks. So this is the scope. So it is not going to go out from here. So anything that is defined here will not be accessed anywhere. However, like if you try to write something here, like name, that is now accessible for all of these here and there. But most of the time, we do not try to make any kind of how to say risk when we have some information or sensitive data. For the time being, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to make you understand how we can pass the parameters to the methods when we try to call them. So let's say I'm trying to say, what is your name? What is your name? Let's say, and then you see, like, in order to run the uh, you know scanner. So what we do usually, we make scanner like this. So this way we can basically, sorry about my typing. Yeah. Now we can welcome the input. So whenever we try to, try to take any input, so where we store in the how to say in the scanner. Now, sorry, in the name variable. Now if I wanted to pass the value to the method here, I cannot directly pass, so I have to have the parameters, right? So this method is having only one method right now we have got. So what I'm going to do is that even if you when you write in IntelliJ IDE, so whenever you say greetings, now you have a string X, so X is string X, or you can put any name, like for example, if you wanted to keep the same name, like name, it's also possible, because this name belongs to main method and this name belongs to greeting method. So both are fine. So now you see here a string name. So you see now you pass the name here, so it's going to be the same, and that's it. So this will help you to print out something. So here, definitely we don't have X anymore, so we have to reduce it. And then you see what's your name. My name is Abdul. As soon as I hit welcome back, Abdul. So, or if you wanted to make it better, so it's up to you. So I realize it makes some sense, and now you have something to return back, to the caller. So let's just quickly and think of a method which is basically I'm gonna make a method. I'm just gonna create a new class, and the new class I'm gonna say like calculator class. So usually like in the calculator class, I'm just gonna make static and I'm gonna say returning float or double, it's up to me. I'm just gonna make eight methods, and in the eight methods I expect 2 digits at least. I will be explaining you later that if you wanted to add more than two, then how to do that. Let's say I'm gonna say double x and double y, or you can directly put double in the definition. So here, so you're gonna say like return, so you're gonna say x plus y, and then that's it. So, sorry about that. Yep. So this was saying that anything that is received in x and y will be added and then sent back in the double. So it means that anybody who is calling us, sorry about the yeah, anybody who's calling us may receive a return as a double return. So let's now call the man. As I told you, if you don't have main, you cannot run the program at all. So let's say public, and yes, when we say public, we can also write public here if you want, but you should remember that public statement anybody can use that. Okay, so let's see the difference. Like public, and you say void, and you say public static. If you don't write static, once again the same thing. We have to create a instance and the string and then args, it's up to us. So here we're gonna print out a message. Please enter the please enter two values. Two values. Okay, so two values, and then we have to have variables double x or y. It's up to us, whatever. Okay, two values for x and y, for x and y. Let's say just a message. Okay, and then here we have to remember we have to create a scanner. Without a scanner, we cannot actually take any value from user. So scanner, and now we can save x. So now any value that is basically inserted by the user have to be, and remember that we have this as a double variable. So we have to call next.double. And now we may copy this and we may paste this. And you cannot, if you try to keep the x same here, so it's gonna replace the value. So I'm gonna say y. So now here it's receiving is done at the main side. Now the logic is we have to call the aid methods, and aid does not print anything. So let's see first here. I'm gonna call aid method here, and I'm gonna pass x and y. X and y are the local variables from the main method. So if I'm just trying to I'm just trying to finish the program here. So when I run the program will run fine. What is the value of the x? I said 12.5, and then I say 4.5. So I do not see anything. Why? Because this method has returned, mean the addition, but I do not actually do anything on the return. So the best way is that you may store it any other variable, such as you create a double like sum, and then sum will be stored here, and then you say the sum is, or then you can print out here sum. Sorry about this. This is for printf. Okay. So if you wanted to do that, so now you're gonna see this. So let's say you say 12.5 and then you say 4.5 and you're gonna get the 17. That's the wonderful answer. So, but only thing that if you don't want to store it as sum, you remember that. So you may have direct call here, which is also fine. We don't have to worry that we have to have the sum as a variable. But usually, like when we have the variables, so we try to computation should be saved somewhere so that we can reuse them. Otherwise, every time we come back and then can manipulate many things. So this is one of the things. And now if you change the logic, let's say now you have three variables, so you may still work on it, but I will be explaining in the different videos. And then let's say if you have a how to say any subtraction or multiplication, you're gonna do, I think, by yourself. This is going to be interesting. Complete the program by this way. And I just wanted to repeat that the methods are very useful so that we can do the modularity in the code. Let's say now if my logic has been changed and I'm gonna make it multiplication or something, so it's just gonna be like not changing everywhere in the program down there, but let's say with I was specific, but I can change here and whole program will be actually, how to say, implemented in this way. And the methods may receive the parameters, may return the output or outcome of the method. And when we pass the values, yes, there were two keywords I forgot to mention earlier, that when you are passing a value, when you're defining a method, so the definition here, this variable is called parameters. But when we pass the values such as this x and y here, that's called arguments. So arguments are the real values that are basically being passed to the method, and parameters are the values that are declared and defined into the definition of the method. I hope it makes some sense that parameters are defined in the definition, such as double x and double y. So we know that, okay, how many parameters are there. They're useful for the declaration of the method, and the arguments are those which we basically pass the values. So I think that's quite all for this video today. I'll be making another video that how can we make the classes and how can we use the classes with methods in the hopefully next video. So please stay in touch. If you have any question or queries, do not hesitate to ask me. Thank you so much, guys.